Why not you? It's a question that cuts through the noise of doubt, fear, and hesitation. It's not just a phrase. It's a challenge to every belief that has told you you're not ready, not capable, not worthy. For far too long, many have looked at success, purpose, greatness, and fulfillment as something reserved for someone else. Someone smarter, someone stronger, someone more qualified. But what if, all along, the only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live was the belief that it couldn't be you? Everywhere you look, there are people rising, achieving, building, overcoming. And somewhere deep inside, there's a voice that says, could I really do that? The answer isn't just yes, it's an emphatic, undeniable yes. Because greatness isn't about who's the most gifted. It's about who refuses to settle. It's about who chooses to believe in spite of the odds, in spite of the pain, in spite of what others said. That kind of power is already within you. The question is, will you awaken it? You see, we've been conditioned to think that certain lives, certain levels of joy, impact, or success are for other people. Maybe you've told yourself, I wasn't born into the right family, or I didn't go to the right school, or I've made too many mistakes. But those are lies designed to keep you small. The truth is, every person who has ever risen to greatness started with one decision. They dared to believe that they could. They dared to ask, why not me? And then they answered that question with action, persistence, and faith. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't need everyone to approve of your dream. What you need is the courage to take the first step, even if your knees are shaking. What you need is the conviction to keep going when it would be easier to quit. What you need is to look in the mirror and stop seeing someone limited by their past and start seeing someone destined for more, because you are. There is something powerful about confronting this question honestly. Why not you? Really, why not? What makes you any less capable than the next person? Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone begins with fear, with doubt, with unanswered questions. But the ones who rise are the ones who move forward anyway. Not because they don't feel fear, but because they don't let fear make their decisions. You've seen others do it. You've watched people rise from the ashes of their own failures. You've seen stories of triumph, of people overcoming things far greater than what you're facing right now. And maybe you've celebrated them. Maybe you've cheered them on. But in the quiet of your own heart, maybe you wondered, could I ever do something like that? And the truth is you can. You were born with potential that fear has tried to hide. You were born with strength that doubt has tried to dim. But it's still there. It's always been there. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is not found in talent alone. It's found in belief. It's found in the decision to rise again and again. It's found in those who stop asking for a guarantee and start living like they have a mission. The ones who make it are not always the most gifted. They're the most committed. Committed to showing up, committed to growth, committed to saying yes even when the world expects a no. So now the question is in front of you again, louder this time, clearer. Why not you? Why not you who takes the risk, who makes the change, who defies the odds? Why not you who becomes the example, the leader, the light? Why not you who inspires others, not just by words, but by the way you live with boldness and purpose? The question is not meant to intimidate you, it's meant to wake you up, to remind you that your time is not later, it's now, that you don't need to wait for a sign, you are the sign, that you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need to decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer sit on the sidelines of your own life. Because the truth is, there's no reason it can't be you. In fact, there's every reason it should be. You've been told things that sounded true, that felt real, but were nothing more than lies dressed up as facts. Lies like you're not good enough, you don't have what it takes, or you're too late. And over time, those lies weren't just things you heard. They became things you believed. They sank deep into your identity, slowly shaping the way you saw yourself, the way you moved through the world. And without realizing it, you started living within the limits those lies created. You started dimming your light so you wouldn't stand out. You lowered your voice so no one would expect too much. You settled for less, not because it was all you wanted, but because you were convinced that more wasn't meant for you. These lies never came from truth. They were built on fear, insecurity, and the opinions of others. But the moment you start to question them, their power begins to crumble. You weren't born with doubt. You weren't born thinking you weren't enough. That was planted in you, through rejection, through failure, through comparison. Someone didn't see your worth, and suddenly you questioned it too. You tried something and it didn't work, and you decided you weren't capable. You looked at others who seemed farther ahead, and instead of being inspired, you felt small. But all of that was based on a false measurement. You were measuring your beginning against someone else's middle. You were measuring your worth based on someone else's opinion. And what you didn't realize is that those lies were not reflections of your value. They were just the enemy's way of trying to keep you from rising. Because if you ever believed the truth about who you really are, nothing could stop you. It's time to unlearn the lies. It's time to silence the voices that told you you'll never be enough. Because deep down, under all the doubt and fear, there's a version of you that's bold, relentless, and full of fire. That version of you has always been there, waiting for you to stop believing the lies long enough to hear the truth that you are capable, that you are worthy, that your past doesn't disqualify you. Your response to it can actually empower you. Every scar, every failure, every disappointment, they don't prove your limits, they prove your survival. And if you've made it this far carrying the weight of lies, imagine how far you'll go once you drop them. Once you stop living under a false identity and start walking in the truth of who you were always meant to be. The truth is, the lies only win if you keep agreeing with them. But the moment you choose to believe differently, everything begins to change. You are not an accident. Your life is not random, and your existence is not some meaningless coincidence. You were born with purpose, deep, specific, undeniable purpose. Before anyone had an opinion about you, before you were ever celebrated or criticized, you were already carrying something significant within you. There's a reason you're here, a reason you think the way you do, a reason certain dreams burn in your heart when you lie awake at night. That's not chance. That's calling. That's destiny trying to speak through the noise of everything else you've been told. The world may have tried to silence that voice. Circumstances may have pushed you into survival mode. But underneath it all, your purpose has never stopped pulsing like a drumbeat, persistent, unwavering, waiting to be claimed. Look around at the world. Every person you see was born with potential, but not everyone taps into it. Why? Because most people never stop long enough to ask why they're here. They get caught in the routine. Wake up, work, sleep, repeat. And somewhere in the middle of it all, they forget they were created to do more than just exist. But you feel it, don't you? That tug, that inner pull that says you were made for something greater. You're not crazy for feeling that. It's not ego, it's not fantasy. It's purpose trying to wake you up. You're not supposed to live life watching others fulfill their dreams while you bury yours. You're not supposed to spend your life trying to fit into places that don't even recognize the value of what you carry. You were made to stand out, to break through, to build something that matters. Your purpose doesn't require perfection. It requires awareness and courage. You don't have to have it all figured out to start walking in it. You just need to believe that you were created for a reason, and that reason is bigger than your fear. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. The real, bold, unfiltered version of you who knows why you're here and lives like it matters. Because it does. Your life matters. Your voice matters. Your actions matter. And the moment you stop trying to be what everyone expects and start becoming who you truly are, everything shifts. When you move with purpose, you stop chasing things that were never meant for you and start attracting everything that was. You weren't just born to survive. You were born to live with intention, with power, with purpose. There's a hidden cost to playing small, and most people never realize it until it's too late. You don't just lose opportunities, you lose time, momentum, and parts of yourself that were meant to grow. Every time you hold back, every time you shrink to make others comfortable, every time you stay silent when your voice was meant to speak, you are giving away pieces of your power. You're not just avoiding risk, you're avoiding purpose. And the price you pay is far greater than fear ever told you. Playing small feels safe, but it's actually the most dangerous thing you can do. Because while it may protect you from judgment, it also shields you from growth. It may keep you from failure, but it also keeps you from greatness. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day surrounded by comfort but haunted by regret. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't designed to just follow the script and hope life works out. There's something inside of you that the world desperately needs, but it won't be seen if you keep hiding behind false humility or fear of rejection. Playing small doesn't make you humble, it makes you invisible. It doesn't serve others, it silences you. The truth is, when you deny your own brilliance, you deny someone else's breakthrough. There's someone out there right now who needs what only you can offer. Your words, your wisdom, your story, your strength. But they'll never find it if you keep pretending you don't have it. You don't serve the world by shrinking. You serve the world by showing up fully and unapologetically as yourself. And here's what most people forget. Your potential doesn't disappear just because you choose to ignore it. It waits. Sometimes it waits quietly. Sometimes it waits painfully. But it waits. And the longer you delay, the heavier that weight becomes. Because deep down, you know you are meant for more. And no amount of distractions or excuses can drown out the truth that lives in your bones. You were not made to fit into boxes built by other people's limitations. You were made to rise, to lead, to create. And the moment you stop playing small is the moment your life begins to reflect the greatness that was always within you. Not someday, now, not when everything's perfect. Right here, right in the middle of your mess, your flaws, your uncertainty. The world doesn't need a smaller version of you, it needs all of you. Greatness doesn't just happen. It's not a matter of chance, luck, or timing. It begins with a decision. One single, unshakable decision to no longer settle for less than what you were created for. It doesn't start with money. It doesn't start with resources, connections, or approval. It starts with the quiet resolve inside of you that says, enough is enough. It's the decision to stand up after life has knocked you down 1,000 times and say, I'm not done. That's where greatness is born, not in perfection, but in persistence, in choosing not to give up when quitting would be easier, in choosing to rise even when the odds are stacked against you. The path may be uncertain, but the decision to walk it anyway changes everything. Far too many people wait for the perfect moment before they move. They wait for clarity. They wait for confidence. They wait for a sign from the outside. But what they don't realize is that the moment they decide, things start shifting. Doors open. Strength rises. Answers begin to appear. Not because the outside changed, but because they did. Greatness responds to commitment. The universe bends toward the bold, not toward the ones who think about change, but the ones who decide to grow, decide to keep going, decide to stop running from their own calling. You don't have to know the full picture. You just have to decide that your life will no longer be ruled by fear, comfort, or excuses. The power of a made-up mind is unstoppable. When you truly decide that you will rise, that you will build, that you will become, nothing can hold you back for long. Obstacles may slow you down, but they won't stop you. Criticism may sting, but it won't derail you. Challenges may stretch you, but they'll also strengthen you. It all starts with one bold, honest decision. I will not waste my life. I will not play small. I will not settle. You are one decision away from stepping into everything you've been praying for, hoping for, dreaming of. The question is, will you make it? Will you decide right now that the life you want begins today with you fully committed, fully awake, fully alive? Because greatness is waiting, and it only needs one word from you, yes. You may not feel like it every day, but the truth is this, you already have what it takes. You've been equipped with everything necessary to become who you were born to be. The strength, the vision, the endurance, it's inside of you. It's not about getting more, it's about awakening what's already within. You've been searching outside for what's been sitting quietly inside, waiting to be called out by faith and action. Stop waiting for someone else to hand you permission. You don't need to be chosen. You are already chosen. What you carry is not small. Your gifts are not average. Your voice is not ordinary. You are more capable than the fear in your mind wants you to believe. You don't need to look like anyone else. You don't need to follow the same path as everyone around you. Comparison is a thief, and it will rob you blind if you let it. Your journey is unique because your calling is unique. The very things you've gone through, the battles, the heartbreaks, the losses, they've prepared you in ways you can't even fully see yet. Every time you stood back up, you were being refined. Every time you kept going when it hurt, you were being forged into someone stronger than you were before. Stop thinking that because it's been hard, you're not qualified. The struggle is not proof that you're failing. It's evidence that you're growing. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and greatness is formed in the fire of resistance. You've been through enough to quit 100 times, but you didn't. And that alone is proof that you have what it takes. Too often we disqualify ourselves because we're waiting to feel ready. But readiness isn't a feeling, it's a choice. You choose to believe you're enough. You choose to show up even when doubt screams louder than confidence. You choose to speak even when your voice shakes. That's where real strength lives. It's not always flashy, and it doesn't always feel heroic. Sometimes it's just the quiet decision to try one more time. But don't underestimate that kind of power. You don't have to become someone else to win. You only need to become who you already are, fully, fiercely, without apology. Everything you need to begin is already inside of you. The only thing left is to trust it, believe it, and step forward with it. You have what it takes, not someday, but today, right now. There's something you need to understand deeply. The fight is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's proof that you're moving towards something that matters. Every time you face resistance, it's not a reason to stop. It's confirmation that you're stepping into new territory that fear and doubt would rather you avoid. There is no elevation without opposition, no breakthrough without pressure. Struggle is not the enemy, it's the training ground. It shapes you. It strips away what you don't need and strengthens what you do. The challenges you're facing aren't there to defeat you. They're there to reveal you. Every obstacle is an invitation to become more, to dig deeper, to rise stronger. The journey isn't easy, and it's not supposed to be. If it were easy, everyone would do it. If it didn't cost anything, it wouldn't mean anything. The process of growth will demand things from you, your discipline, your patience, your persistence. But it will also give back tenfold. You're going to face moments that test your willpower. Days when quitting seems more reasonable than continuing. Moments where the finish line feels too far away. But it's in those moments that you're building something far more important than a result. You're building resilience. You're building faith. You're building the kind of character that can handle the blessing once it comes. And make no mistake, the blessing is coming. But first, you've got to prove to yourself that you can stand through the storm. Every setback you experience is a setup for a stronger comeback. The fight is making you focused. The pressure is making you precise. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. This journey is forging something rare inside of you. And when you feel like giving up, that's exactly when you must lean in. Because on the other side of that battle is breakthrough. The pain you're enduring is not wasted. It's teaching you. It's equipping you. You may not see the full picture yet, but every step forward, every hard decision, every tear, every sacrifice, it's all part of the masterpiece being written through your life. And if you don't quit, you will see it. The fight is tough, but so are you. And you're not in it alone. The struggle is not where your story ends, it's where your strength begins. You keep looking around, hoping someone else will lead the way. You keep waiting for someone more qualified, more experienced, more perfect to step up and do what you feel in your heart. But the truth is, you are the one, not by accident, not by default, on purpose. You were placed where you are with what you have for a reason. And that feeling deep in your spirit, that quiet but constant urge to rise, to speak, to create, to lead, that's not something random. That's purpose calling out your name. It's not waiting for someone else. It's waiting for you. You don't have to be the loudest in the room or the most accomplished on paper. You just have to be willing. Willing to believe that the calling on your life is real and that you don't need permission from anyone else to walk in it. You've been downplaying yourself for too long. You've been convinced that the answer lies somewhere outside of you, that the people who change the world look a certain way, speak a certain way, have certain titles. But history doesn't favor the most polished. It favors the most persistent, the ones who refuse to stay quiet, the ones who don't wait for perfect timing or ideal conditions, the ones who show up raw, real, and ready, even when they feel scared. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to say yes. Yes to the pull in your soul. Yes to the greatness that refuses to die in you. Yes to becoming the one who breaks the cycle, who shifts the atmosphere, who lives out the purpose they were born for. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will stretch you. But it will also awaken something powerful in you that's been buried under layers of fear and self-doubt. You are not too late. You are not unworthy. You are not underqualified. You are chosen. You are positioned. You are capable. You are the one who will make the decision others were too afraid to make. The one who will rise when it would be easier to stay hidden. The one who says, if not now, then when? If not me, then who? This is your time, and you are the one. Not because you're perfect, but because you're willing to believe in what's already been planted inside of you. There comes a point when hiding from your past, your pain, and your imperfections no longer serves you. You've spent enough time trying to cover up your story, as if it disqualifies you. But the truth is, your story is your strength. Every chapter, every scar, every setback has shaped the person you are today. The moments you thought would break you actually built you. And the very things you once felt ashamed of may be the keys that unlock freedom for someone else. You've walked through things most people wouldn't survive, and yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still becoming. That's not weakness, that's power. And it's time to stop minimizing your journey. It's time to own it. Because the more you own your story, the less power your past has over you, and the more power your future begins to hold. Owning your story doesn't mean pretending it's all been easy. It means being honest about where you've been while refusing to let it define where you're going. It means turning your pain into purpose and your mistakes into momentum. When you stop hiding, you start healing. When you stop performing, you start transforming. There's a freedom that comes from embracing your whole self. Not just the highlight reel, but the real, raw, unfiltered version of your journey. That version carries truth. That version carries weight. That version changes lives. The world doesn't need another perfect image. It needs authenticity. And your story, in all its complexity, might just be the light someone else needs to find their way out of the dark. The moment you stop apologizing for your story is the moment you start rewriting it. No more guilt. No more shame. You are not your failures. You are not your past. You are the lessons, the resilience, the courage it took to rise from it all. And the more you own that, the more unstoppable you become. Your story is your platform. Your story is your power. Speak it. Stand in it. Let it fuel you. Because when you own your story, you reclaim your voice. And when you reclaim your voice, you step into the authority that was always yours. You may feel stuck right now. You may feel unsure, overwhelmed, or tired from the weight of everything you've been through. But listen closely. Your future is still calling your name. It hasn't given up on you, even if you've had moments where you gave up on yourself. Your future needs you, not a version of you that's pretending, not a watered-down version shaped by fear, but the real you. The you that dares to dream, even when life hasn't been kind. The you that still feels fire in your soul, even if the world hasn't recognized it yet. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to remember that what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you, and that your future is depending on the choices you make today. Every time you think about quitting, you're not just walking away from a goal, you're walking away from the person you were becoming. You're leaving behind the breakthrough that was just around the corner. Your future isn't some far-off fantasy, it's being built in the present moment. Every step you take, every decision you make, every challenge you face, it's all shaping what's next. You can't change the past, but you can absolutely shape the future. And if you let go of what no longer serves you, limiting beliefs, toxic doubt, fear of failure, you create space for the kind of future that aligns with your purpose. The kind of future that you were born to walk in. So don't wait until everything feels perfect. Don't wait until the fear disappears or the road becomes easy. Step forward anyway. Your future is waiting on the other side of your persistence. It's waiting on your courage to believe again, to try again, to stand up when you feel like staying down. You have a future to build, a legacy to leave, a life to live fully, and no one else can do it for you. This is your moment to remember that your best days are not behind you. They're ahead of you, calling, reaching, waiting. Answer that call. Show up for your future. It needs you more than you know. Most people never start because they've convinced themselves they're not ready. They think they need more time, more preparation, more confidence, more clarity. But the truth is, readiness isn't something that shows up before you move. It's something that's revealed as you move. The idea that you need to have everything perfectly aligned before you begin is a lie that's kept far too many people stuck in the same place for years. You're more ready than you think. Everything you've walked through, every challenge you've overcome, every lesson you've learned has been preparing you for right now. You may not feel ready. You may not see the full path. But readiness is not a feeling. It's a decision to trust what's already been placed inside of you. It's easy to underestimate yourself when all you can see are your flaws. When you focus on what you lack, you forget what you carry. But readiness doesn't mean perfection. It means willingness. It means showing up even when the fear hasn't left. It means taking the first step even if your knees are shaking. The people who make the biggest impact in life aren't the ones who had the perfect plan. They're the ones who started anyway. They moved with trembling hands. They built with limited tools. They spoke when their voice cracked. And in doing so, they discovered strength they never would have found waiting on the sidelines. You've been waiting for a moment of certainty, but sometimes the only way to find clarity is by taking action. You don't need someone else to validate your readiness. You don't need the stars to align or conditions to become ideal. What you need is the courage to stop stalling and start building. Growth happens in motion. Confidence comes through experience. And the life you dream of won't wait forever. You're not running out of time, you're running out of excuses. You are more prepared, more equipped, and more ready than you realize. The question isn't whether the time is right. The question is whether you'll rise to meet it. Because deep down, you already know you've got what it takes. Now is your time to prove it. You keep telling yourself you're waiting for the right opportunity, or waiting for the right people, waiting for the world to finally open a door to give you permission to take notice. But here's the truth. You're not waiting on the world. The world is waiting on you to rise, waiting on you to step into the fullness of who you are. Waiting on you to stop shrinking yourself to fit into boxes you were never meant to be in. Everything you're hoping to see out there begins with what you choose to unlock in here, in your mindset, your actions, your belief. The moment you stop expecting the world to give you something and start realizing you were born to bring something to it, everything shifts. You were never meant to sit on the sidelines of your own life. You were meant to lead, to build, to influence, to spark change. And the world doesn't move until you do. What if the change you've been praying for isn't something that's coming to you, but something that's coming through you? What if the opportunity you think you're waiting for is actually waiting for you to believe you're ready? The world doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to courage. It doesn't follow those who are merely wishing. It follows those who are willing to act. There are people out there right now who are waiting to hear your voice. Waiting to be inspired by your story, waiting to watch you break through so they can believe it's possible for them too. And every day you hold back, you're not just delaying your own progress, you're delaying theirs. You were born to move things forward, to shift the atmosphere around you, to be a catalyst. But that kind of influence only flows when you stop playing small. It's time to stop watching others rise and wondering when it will be your turn. It's already your turn. It's been your turn. You don't need a louder voice or a bigger platform. You need to show up authentically, boldly, now. The world is not waiting for someone else. It's waiting for the real, unapologetic, fired-up version of you. The one who knows that purpose doesn't wait, that destiny doesn't delay forever, and that if you're still breathing, you're still called. You're not waiting on a sign. You are the sign. And the world is waiting on you to believe it. Everything you've faced, every obstacle, every heartbreak, every failure, it wasn't wasted, it wasn't random, it wasn't meaningless. It was fuel to strengthen you, fuel to prepare you, fuel to ignite a fire in you that nothing else could spark. You may not have understood it at the time. You may have begged for the struggle to end, questioned the pain, even wondered if you'd ever make it out. But look at you. You did. And you didn't just survive it, you were shaped by it, molded, refined, hardened in the fire of adversity. Every time you got back up, you were gaining something greater than comfort. You were gaining character. And that character, that tenacity, is what will carry you into everything you were created for. The things you thought disqualified you have actually equipped you. The trials you thought were breaking you were actually building you. Even the moments that brought you to your knees were part of the process. Because sometimes the only way to rise is to first be humbled. Sometimes the only way to gain wisdom is to walk through pain. You didn't come out of those seasons weaker. You came out with battle-tested strength. The kind of strength you can't buy or borrow. The kind of strength that sets leaders apart. You've earned every scar, every lesson, every insight. And now you carry the kind of experience that speaks louder than theory because you've lived it. And that is fuel that nothing and no one can take from you. So don't hide your scars. Don't downplay your journey. Let it power you. Let it remind you that if you made it through that, you can make it through this. Let it drive you to keep going when comfort tries to make you settle. Because everything you've been through has a purpose. And its purpose is not to haunt you. It's to push you toward your calling, toward your destiny, toward the highest version of yourself. The past doesn't define you, but it does empower you. If you choose to use it, your history can become your fuel, not your excuse, not your limit, but your launching pad. You keep looking at the clock, thinking time has passed you by. You keep measuring your progress against someone else's timeline and convincing yourself that it's too late to become who you were meant to be. But hear this loud and clear. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are not disqualified because of your age, your detours, or your delays. What is meant for you is still possible, and the doors that are yours to walk through haven't closed. They're waiting for you to rise. Life isn't a straight line. Sometimes the journey takes longer, sometimes the path gets twisted, but that doesn't cancel your calling. If anything, it makes it richer. It makes your story deeper. It makes your arrival more powerful because you fought through more to get there. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next step forward. Maybe you had to go through the detour so you could grow. Maybe you had to lose what wasn't meant for you so you could make room for what is. Maybe your pace had to be different so your foundation could be stronger. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it never will. Delay does not mean denial. And in a world obsessed with speed and instant results, what you're building is going to be worth the wait. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history didn't come early. They came right on time. And your time is not past, it's being prepared. You must stop mourning a timeline that was never yours to begin with. Your journey is custom built, and you're not too old, too broken, too late, or too anything for the purpose God placed in you. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still feeling that pull inside you, that's proof that your time isn't over. It's proof that there's still more for you. More to learn, more to give, more to build, more to become. Don't let doubt rob you of your destiny. It's not too late.